Hey, good morning. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Welcome. Where I thought that a good subject for a video might be about getting old. Well, what are the qualifications? Well, my own qualifications are that I'm old. Can't beat that, can you? I get lots of advice on how to stay healthy, how to grow to a ripe old age. Well, I did it, and I did it on my own. Actually, old age is something that you don't have to worry about. It will happen whether you like it or not, and it will happen without anything that you do. Well, maybe that's not true. How do you get old gracefully? How do you get old healthily? Well, the disappointing news that I have on that, and it's only my opinion, as most things are, and that is it starts when you're young. And your attitude when you're young will affect how you do on the job of getting old. Now, for me, a lot of the criticisms that I've had in my life have been because I didn't join in on the party. Now, does that mean that I was a party pooper? Well, in the traditional sense, it does actually, because even though at a fairly early age, when I was in my 20s, very early 20s, was when I was in the army, and I used to party then at the weekends, and I used to party so that I could talk about how I'd partied, because the actual partying didn't really hold much of an attraction for me. Getting drunk didn't hold a great attraction, even though I was like every other young man. Oh boy, didn't we get drunk last night? I was so drunk I did the, all that usual garbage talk. Well, as soon as I started to think for myself rather than be pushed along by peer pressure, I started to realize that the body is not meant to have excessive doses of alcohol. Probably I would have to say that alcohol doesn't actually suit the body. I see lots of things, probably from doctors who drink a great deal of wine, and they're saying that a glass of wine a day is very good for you. They're saying a lot of things, aren't they? Doctors are very good at saying a lot of things which aren't actually true. I go with the idea that you should go with what you actually enjoy doing, and that joy should be your main guide. Now, having said that, I've gone on record as saying that when you're afraid of doing something, that may lead to growth. So you have to differentiate between these different emotions and what the quality of them, as far as leading you to a better, healthier life, really are. Now, I never did, as I said, once I started thinking for myself, I never did go along with the idea of getting drunk. I watched alcohol destroy a lot of my friends. I watched drugs destroy a lot of friends. I never went with the idea that any, enforced change of perspective and awareness, which is what drugs do. I never went along with the idea that that was a good thing. It seemed to me that learning to face reality, what was around you, what you were perceiving with your natural perceptions, was the way to go, and that's what I did. Now, when I was a musician, I went through, in one particular band where I was in that band for 7 years, I went through being quite isolated, quite the loner. I was not embraced by the people around me. I may have enjoyed a measure of respect. That's possible because I was good at my job. Now, I don't smoke and I don't drink. Very, very little on the drink. I might have a beer And if I am ever a guest in your house and you open a can of beer, it's quite possible that I might be able to finish it. Now, I went once to a friend of mine, an old friend from the army, and I did manage to drink a bottle of beer. He offered me a second bottle of beer, and I mentioned to him that no, I won't have that second bottle, because when I have a second beer, the ends of my fingers start to go numb. And he thought that that was quite pathetic, but his wife made the observation to him and commented and said, "Boy, wouldn't you love to have your fingers go numb at just only one beer?" So, as far as he was concerned, I was not part of the A-team, as he said, because I didn't know how to enjoy myself. So, to get on to how to live beyond getting old, as I said, my qualification for giving any kind of advice on this is that I'm 78 years old. Now, if you look at YouTube, you can look at any one of a gazillion videos showing how people who have been very fortunate in their lives enjoyed a great career, enjoyed being ultra handsome, a condition that I was never able to claim. And then, because they were able to have everything that they wanted, they had everything that they wanted at an early age, probably in their 20s, 30s and 40s. By the time they get to 40, they probably added 200 or 300 pounds to their weight. Now, my own observation is that keeping your body shape from, let's say early 20s is key to being able to grow old gracefully. And I have friends who are several hundred pounds heavier than I am, and they probably won't thank me for saying this, but their weight will be key to how they grow old. Sorry, it's a fact. Have a look at the videos on there, and almost everyone where these poor celebrities that live their life in the public eye, people are watching them and people are gaining money, making money out of the fact that they've botched their life by, instead of being a hard body sex symbol in their 20s, they are now like beached whales. There's no politically correct way of saying this, but if you've abused your body early on, then the payback is later in life. Now, I was never, because of some of the beliefs that I had and some of the things that I studied when I was in my 20s, very early on I got a complete turn-off on any pharmaceutical help in being healthy. If I got a headache, well, I suffered through the headache, and when I was bringing up my kid as a single parent, if he got a headache, I would sympathize with him and say, yeah, it's tough having a headache. And I think possibly to this day that boy, Luke, still has the same attitude towards medication as I have. Now, right now, if I get a headache, well, yeah, it's just a headache. I actually am on medication right now because of having a bad cough and a cold. And I've learned, I'm going to close this door now, I've learned to accept a certain amount, a limited amount of help. I don't believe in any of the inoculation programs. I don't want to have any of the inoculations. I don't believe in the flu shot. I've just been reading a book that someone sent to me about leading a healthy life, and the whole inoculation program is really a turn-off for me. I don't believe that it has any real foundation in being able to claim that it does what it does. Now, that's my belief. Why do I go along with my belief is that probably I'm older than most of the doctors that are trying to help me. That's why. So, what do you need to be able to grow old? Now, you've got some repair work to do if you have abused your body for a long time, because you're going to have to change the way that you live. Now, if you've been a couch potato, sorry, there's nothing that anybody else can do short of coming around and making you work your body. Now, I got a lot of people telling me, Terence, take it easy, you're getting old now and you can't do what you used to do. Well, right now I work a 16-hour day and I don't enjoy the luxury of having a nap in the afternoon. Although when I'm out and working at my mission, I feel like having a nap, sure, and leave me alone in the car while Beth is shopping, and and I'll be napping like every other old guy with my mouth open. Okay, but I don't rush out and welcome old age by refusing to do things based on old age. And right now I'm actually admonishing myself for having eased up in the last year, because since we've been doing the channel, which is just over a year, I've eased up on physical activity. Now, prior to that, I was actually building my own house. I started building my own house, which is something like 25 by 13 by 2 floors. And I started building that on my own with just $100 worth of tools. An electric drill was my only electrical help. An electric drill, a pop riveter, a saw, a hammer, a one-inch chisel. We didn't have very much, and that's what we started with, and that's what I built my house with. So you cannot rush out and embrace old age. If you embrace it, it will be your lover, and it will love you, and you will get old, and you will stop doing things because, oh well, I'm too old to do that anymore. Well, okay, sometimes I feel my age, and I shake that off, and I don't accept all of the things that people tell me. These are what I call considerations, and if you accept a consideration of somebody, like you're too old to do that, then you bought into that consideration. Now, why do other people's considerations make you old? It's because, as I've said on many occasions, if you ask someone for their advice, they will give you a statement, a piece of advice which is based purely, solely on the sum total of their own wins and losses. Now, you ask somebody that's been heavily abusing his body for years for help on health, and he will give you some very tainted advice. If you ask a smoker, if you ask a drinker, if you ask somebody that's been on drugs, obviously the basis of their experience is going to be tainted, surely, because your body is not meant to have drugs introduced into the bloodstream. It's not meant to have excessive amounts of alcohol, or, in my opinion, any amount of alcohol. Oh boy, that means that I am just a big party pooper, and I am ruining everything. Okay, well, enjoy what will pass for an old age in your particular case, and pay the price. That's what I think will happen. It's a prediction that will very soon come home to you, believe me, and you will pay for all of your parties. The payment is coming up. You may have thought that taking some, let me say, rescue work on board about, well, I better ease off on the drink, give my body a chance to recover, I better cut down on my smoking, but it's the only thing that I enjoy. It was the only thing that my father enjoyed, and he died much younger than me. Well, I'm not dead yet, am I? That's a little misuse of the phrase. My father died about the age of 72, and I'm 78, and I am in better shape now than most of the people that would give me advice. I saw a very good quote from a book on quotations that Mr. and Mrs. O sent to me, and it said, most of what has been written about death, well, all of what's written about death and the subject of death by experts is written by people who are still alive. So what do they know? What do people know about being healthy at old age when they're 20 or 30 years younger than I am? So, your attitude about your age is key. The other key is the kind of life that you've led. This is not happy news for those who have abused, but it is, I feel, a fact. That's the fact that I see around me. I see, looking back now on the band that I was in for 7 years, it's not a happy story. I think a couple of those people are dead already, and not nice, not pretty. I see some of them that have had severe surgery, cancer, bits chopped off their body, and all of that. And it's not a happy, nice, pretty story. They were the ones that were having a great time when I was the isolated one, when I was the one who didn't appear to them to have fun. They were wrong, because I was having fun. I was having a different kind of fun, and I was enjoying having a healthy body back then, and I'm enjoying having a healthy body right now. I have a young family, and here's what I think is, there's not just one key, there are several keys. You must not buy into the consideration that as you get older you're supposed to slow down. I really don't see that this is the answer, because as you slow down, your body says, oh, we're slowing down now, we don't need to be as strong, we don't need to be as tough, we don't need to be as resilient, we can ease up a bit now. It's getting to that time of life. You bought into the idea that as you get older you need to slow down. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Whereas at one time I used to float upstairs 2 at a time. I don't exactly float up there now. I have to work at it. But back then I used to run upstairs 2 at a time, and I used to see kids here, especially in the Philippines, and said, why does he go upstairs 2 at a time? Well, I enjoyed having a good, strong body, and I tested it and challenged it all the time. So let's say that you've got your repair work to be done. Well, you'll attend to that in your own way and in your own time, and hopefully you will manage to get the ship back in order to be able to sail for a long time. Now, you must have a mission. You must have something to do. You must have challenges that you are going to have to struggle to meet. You're going to have to push yourself to get out of bed every day. Is it going to be easy? It's never going to be easy. Get used to that. Are you going to be brave? Are you going to be courageous? Are you going to be unafraid? No, you're always going to be afraid. You're always going to be concerned that you can't do it. You're always going to be concerned that you will fail. And you're always going to have to push yourself to do the things that other people around you, remember considerations, the considerations of what happens when you get old. What are you doing that for at your age? Somebody just wrote to me after my last video about vaccinations and the flu shot and said, sorry, no offence, Terence, but at your age, flu shot. And he's saying that on the basis of he doesn't seem to realise that statistically the flu shot is not seen to be working. Do I have the flu shot? No, I don't. May I catch the flu? Yes, I may. Who is that person that's going to hijack? Are you here to ruin my talk?
No, I'm not.
You're not? You're going to put your... She's going to put her lipstick on. Now, can I get this lady in my life to listen and understand what I'm saying? Is that my challenge? Is it, honey?
Yeah, so flu shot. Yeah, thank you for the advice about the flu shots. You know, I read that comment. Thank you so much.
She hasn't listened at all to anything that I've said about the flu.
Thank you for the flu shots.
No, we're not. We haven't had the flu shot.
No, but I mean, thanks for the advice.
Let me ask you then. What was my advice about the flu shot?
Don't do the flu shots is not yet proven, right?
Well, actually, it is proven. It's proven not to work.
Not really.
Yes, it is, honey.
Come on, let me finish.
Let me finish.
Yeah, but I think it's better. It's better to be herbal. You know, because if you look at those people in the previous years of their lives, you know, like there are people living 300 years old, 200 years old, 150 years old. That's happened because there's no processed food. They're still long live because they don't take medications, or there's no preservative. So as much as I think the good advice is as much as you can, if you take away of that preservative preservative food. You know, medications, it's better because...
she started bashing me again.
It's better, you know. That's why I said to Terence, you know, better if we get some atis, you know, star apple, and put it in the water and you drink it, or...
some apple and put it in the water?
No, star apple, the leaves of star apple, atis.
Star apple?
Star apple, atis. The leaves of that star apple, you put it in the leaves, and that's the one that you're drinking.
Hmm?
Because I told you already, you're not listening sometimes. Sometimes I told and he's not listening. Yeah, so it's better, you know, but still, to those who advise, comments are very, very welcome, you know, because we love to read comments. And if we don't like that comments, sorry, I deleted it.
Now, she often, to anybody who likes to slip in a nasty comment, especially about me and my age, she just deletes them. I'm sheltered from this. I don't even get to see them. So, perhaps part of getting old gracefully is to have somebody like Beth, if you're very lucky, and you would be very lucky, to have them deleting and shielding from any of the crap that comes from people who would like to hurt you.
Yeah,
yes, my dear.
The flu or the medication is no good, but it's good to put Rexona for your armpit, you know. Thank you so much.
There's nothing wrong with my armpits.
I think this is from Big Sister and Big Brother. Still a lot.
We've still got that.
Yeah, we need to put this on the armpit because it's...
On whose armpit?
Your armpit.
Is this getting personal again?
Yeah, we need to go now.
So, anyway, me and my aged armpits, notwithstanding, you need a mission, just quickly, because I got to go, but you need a mission. You need something worthwhile to do. When I went recently, well, it's just over a year ago, which is recently when you're 78, I went to the UK. Don't always
mention your age.
I went to the, see what I mean? I'm not supposed to mention my age. I went to the UK to visit my son and his bride-to-be. And while I was there, I realised that when I'm they were encouraging me at that time to go and live in the UK. And the encouragement to go and live in the UK was that if I went there and I presented myself at the council, the local council, and said, well, I'm here, I've returned, I've got nothing, and I'm homeless, I would be given a fairly nice apartment, small apartment. I'd be helped, I'd be secured, I'd have free medical and all of these things, lots of things that would enable me to be an old man in an apartment living out the last years of my life. And I thought, I don't want that. So I returned here to my real life and my real age, which is to be in a mission, to be doing what I want to have no one say to me, you can't do that, not to have people around me. I felt actually quite sorry during that time, because I went and had a medical checkup, which I haven't had for years, and I spoke to the woman there, and my advice would have been to her, she was there and she was dealing with pensioners, and pensioners, aged people like myself, would come in and talk about their ills. Well, yes, I've got the lumbosis, and I've got this, and I've got that, and my back's hurting, and my arthritis. And my advice to her, had I been able politically correctly to say anything, would be, don't associate with people like this, because they will make you feel old when you are barely old. So, I think you need a mission. I think you need something to do. And I think you need to do those things which will challenge you, which will make you get out of bed in the morning and resist going to bed at night, and to do things which will help other people. If you're at an age that is anywhere close to mine, you will have many people telling you you can't do things. You'll find people taking your elbow and helping you here. You have to resist all of that, you know, because very, very often these people are not in as good a health as you. I have people who are not in as good a health as me trying to help me because I'm old. Nah, BS. You have to fight what you are wanting to achieve. You have to fight for being here a long, long time. As I've described it once before, when you're a kid and you're looking up the road that represents your life, it disappears off into infinity when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you look at your parents as if they're, wow, I wonder what it's like to be old. I used to ask my father and my mother, what was it like in the olden days? Well, can you be quiet, honey?
The mechanic will be...
Can you be quiet for a moment?
The mechanic will be at
I'm
10.
right in the middle of a sentence. Can you be quiet?
Okay, continue.
Now, what was I saying? See, you'll have people who are going to tell you that you have to do things that are based on the fact that you're old. Don't allow those things. Don't listen. Don't validate them. Get on with being what you are and find something to do that is important to you and will make a difference to the lives of others. I think that's the key. Now for us, we have our mission. Our mission, in a way, found us. Linking up with a woman, as I said, a woman like Beth, Beth is actually 28 years old. Now, for all of those that are poised with their finger on the enter button on their computer that are going to tell me any kind of adverse comments, she'll just delete them. I won't even see them. And if I see any veiled comments, you'll find that your comments are deleted even if you're not blocked. But watch out if you have a few deletions, because it means that blocking is coming up very, very soon. So don't listen to the considerations of others about what you can or can't do if they're based purely on the number. Now, any one of us may die tomorrow. Any one of us may die soon. Any one of us. And your death, heaven forbid that it should happen tomorrow, but your death will not be dependent on the number. It will depend on how you've lived. It will depend on how you're living. It will depend on your attitude. Some people die because there's simply nothing else left to live for. And some people die for a lot of other reasons. Some people live for a lot of reasons. Did you know that statistically people who really want to die in November will actually struggle and last out for Christmas for their family, so that they don't leave their family bereaved at Christmas, and they struggle to live. So you can affect how you're living. My brother, who was a wonderful guy, died in his 50s. Now, what were his reasons for doing that? I don't know, and may not of hopefully for a long, long time until I meet him again. Okay, but I'm not out there embracing old age. I have a great deal of work to do today. I've been up since about 6 or 7 this morning, and here I am making a video, and I'm being pressured by my dear wife to get ready because we've got a lot to do. Now, if you're sitting there in your armchair with nothing to do, you've already started to embrace old age, and I don't care how old you are. Get up, get off your ass, and do something. That's one of the keys of getting old and getting very old. This is Foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for looking in. Hope it helps you to get old gracefully. Bye for now.